Founded in 1923 by Walt Disney, Disney Animation Studio is one of the oldest animation studios still active today. At the time of its creation, animation was seen as a simple form of entertainment aimed at children. It was mostly confined to short, humorous cartoons, typically a few minutes long, often shown before feature films. When Walt had the visionary idea to create a full-length animated feature, many industry insiders believed the project was doomed to fail. They doubted audiences would sit through an entire animated movie. Walt Disney reportedly mortgaged his own house to finance the project, which cost around $1.5 million, a massive sum during the Great Depression. The project became known as Disney's Folly because of the widespread belief that it would be a financial disaster. However, when Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs premiered in 1937, it became a massive critical and commercial success, proving the skeptics wrong. Walt Disney's groundbreaking innovation made the film visually stunning and emotionally engaging. These innovations helped establish Disney as a major player in Hollywood. However, the 1940s were challenging for Disney. While Snow White has been a groundbreaking success, subsequent releases like Pinocchio, Dumbo, and Bambi faced significant challenges. World War II cut off international markets, severely affecting revenue. Additionally, the 1941 animators' strike caused internal disruption, delaying production and placing financial strain on the studio. Also, the darker tones and more experimental storytelling of these films didn't capture audiences the way Snow White had, making this period tough for Disney. The studio temporarily shifted back to producing smaller cartoon shorts and package films. To regain his momentum, Walt knew he needed another hit on par with Snow White, so he returned to feature films based on fairy tales, this time adapting Cinderella, which the future of the studio depended on its success. Upon its release, Cinderella was a massive box office hit, allowing Disney to continue working on new projects, which helped the studio climb back to the top after its difficult years. After Walt's death in 1966, leadership passed to Michael Eisner and Frank Wells. By this time, Disney had grown into a massive entertainment company with multiple divisions, and animation was no longer its primary income source. Michael Eisner appointed Jeffrey Katzenberg as head of the animation studio. Under the new leadership, Disney had a rocky start with The Black Cauldron, which was a box office failure that led many people to believe that Disney's golden era had ended along with its founder. However, modest successes like The Great Mouse Detective and Oliver and Company helped restore the faith in the studio. Katzenberg knew it was the right time for a princess to save Disney once again, and this time it was The Little Mermaid. The film was a massive hit that single-handedly revived the studio, pushing Disney back to the top of the industry. This is why princesses remain so crucial to Disney. They've always provided a new boost when the studio needed it most. The Little Mermaid sparked a new era, commonly referred to as Disney's Renaissance. The studio, with a team of new young animators, followed up with a series of major successes, including Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, and The Lion King, one of Disney's most iconic films that earned them over $1 billion at the box office. However, all wasn't perfect behind the scenes. Jeffrey Katzenberg, the man responsible for overseeing much of Disney's revival, had a tense relationship with Michael Eisner. Despite successes like The Lion King, the two clashed, leading to Katzenberg's exit in 1994. He went to create a new animation studio that would later challenge Disney with major hits. But even after his departure, Disney continued its renaissance, with films like Pocahontas, Mulan, and Tarzan. However, by the early 2000s, Disney Animation found itself in a difficult position. The rise of 3D animation, pioneered by Pixar, a company Disney had a partnership with, began to overshadow traditional hand-drawn animation. Films like Toy Story, A Bug's Life, and Monsters, Inc. showcased Pixar's technical and storytelling prowess, leading to growing internal discussions at Disney about the future of animation. When Finding Nemo became a critical and commercial hit, surpassing many of Disney's own productions, Pixar's dominance in animation was clear. Pixar. The story of Pixar begins with John Lasseter, a man who had finally landed his dream job as an animator at Disney. One day, he stumbled upon a new type of animation technology he had never seen before: computer-generated imagery. Instantly, he realized this was the future of animation. Excited by its potential, Lasseter began working on a short film that combined 3D animations with traditional 2D styles. After completing the first version of the short, he set up a meeting with the higher-ups at Disney to present his idea. 5 minutes after the presentation, he was fired. It turns out that Michael Eisner and the other Disney executives hated the idea of computer animation, viewing it as a less creative mechanical process that threatened to replace traditional artistry, similar to how AI is seen today. After being dismissed from Disney, John Lasseter sought out new opportunities to continue to explore his passion for computer-generated animation. During this time, he joined Lucasfilm's computer graphics group, where he worked with some of the pioneers in CGI like Ed Catmull. Ed Catmull had founded the computer graphics group at Lucasfilm and was a visionary in the field of computer graphics. He had already begun developing groundbreaking technologies in CGI animation. Lasseter and Catmull shared a common interest in pushing the boundaries of what computer animation could achieve, and their collaboration would prove to be crucial. In 1986, when Steve Jobs purchased the computer graphics group from Lucasfilm for $5 million, it was rebranded as Pixar Animation Studios. Ed Catmull became the president of Pixar, while Lasseter was named the company's first director of creative operations. The two men, along with a small team of talented animators and engineers, set out to explore the potential of CGI in storytelling. Pixar first gained attention with a short film called Luxo Jr., featuring a playful lamp that would later become the company's iconic logo. Their next breakthrough came with Tin Toy, a short film about a toy's misadventures with a baby. Tin Toy won an Academy Award for Best Animated Short, making Pixar the first CGI studio to receive such an honor. This success caught the attention of Disney of all people, who finally saw the potential of CGI storytelling. Disney decided to invest in Pixar to create a feature-length film similar to Tin Toy, focused on talking toys. This collaboration led to the creation of Toy Story, which became a massive success. Toy Story not only proved the commercial viability of CGI animation, but also demonstrated the ability to tell rich, emotionally engaging stories. The film revolutionized the animation industry and cemented Pixar's place as a leader in the field. Following the massive success of A Bug's Life and Toy Story 2, Michael Eisner, now realizing the future of animation was in CGI, decided to explore the market with Disney's own animation studios. The studio experimented with CGI by producing dinosaurs, but without the expertise or technology Pixar had developed, the film fell short of expectations and bombed at the box office. Disney quickly realized they couldn't compete with Pixar's groundbreaking success in CGI, leaving them reliant on their partnership with Pixar, which benefited from Disney's distribution. However, tensions began to rise between the two studios. Pixar felt Disney retained too much control over the film's profit and creative direction. The solution came when Bob Iger became the CEO of Disney. Recognizing that Disney couldn't compete with Pixar's success, Iger negotiated a deal to purchase Pixar in 2006. This acquisition was a game changer for Disney, allowing them to fully integrate Pixar's creative genius and ensure they remain the leader of the animation industry. With the acquisition of Pixar, the Walt Disney Company found itself with two animation divisions, both led by John Lasseter and Ed Catmull. So they used Pixar's cutting-edge technologies and expertise to revitalize Disney animation, training animators and helping the studio successfully transition into CGI. This collaboration led to a new wave of Disney animated hits, alongside Pixar's own continued success. Both studios thrived. However, in 2021, John Lasseter was fired again from the company following allegations of inappropriate workplace behavior. He was replaced by Jennifer Lee, the writer and co-director of Frozen. After Lasseter's departure, audiences began to notice a decline in the magic and quality of the films produced both by Disney and Pixar. Pixar in particular, which had delivered nothing but critical and commercial success under Lasseter's leadership, struggled to recapture the same level of innovation and emotional resonance in its newer films. This shift left some fans feeling that the golden age of Pixar was behind them. Disney even tried to revive the magic by returning to their proven formula, a princess movie. However, this time it didn't work. The film was poorly received, failing to capture the same passion and excitement as previous hits. Now, the studio finds itself in a crossroads, and only time will tell how Disney will rebound as it has done so many times in the past. DreamWorks Animation. Remember Jeff Katzenberg, the man responsible for Disney's renaissance, who left the company shortly after The Lion King became a billion-dollar success? Well, the reason of his departure was tied to Frank Wells' death, Disney's president and COO at the time. Katzenberg had expected to be promoted to Wells' position and felt that Michael Eisner had implied as much. However, Eisner refused to give him the role, choosing to take it on himself. Feeling betrayed and overlooked, Katzenberg left Disney, determined to prove his worth. Seeking revenge and eager to show that he had deserved the promotion, Katzenberg joined forces with Steven Spielberg and David Geffen to found DreamWorks SKG, where he became the head of DreamWorks Animation. DreamWorks Animation was designed to be the primary division that would guarantee the most revenue for the company. To achieve this, Spielberg provided Katzenberg with the animators from his previous studio, Illumination, and recruited several Disney animators who had left their jobs. DreamWorks attracted these animators by promising them greater creative control, which they felt was lacking at Disney. This strategy laid a strong foundation for DreamWorks Animation's success in the competitive animation industry. To start the battle with Disney, Katzenberg knew he had to take a different approach. While Disney focused primarily on creating beloved characters and then crafting a story around them, DreamWorks prioritized storytelling first. Katzenberg was aware that Disney was working on a movie about ants, so he had the brilliant idea to create a competing film and release it just 1 month earlier. Ant Z was a significant success, but shortly after, Disney released A Bug's Life, which became a massive hit and broke box office records. This made it clear that defeating Disney would be a challenging task. DreamWorks followed Ants with some 2D animation movies, but their true win came when Katzenberg had the idea to adapt the kids' book Shrek. Shrek was crafted as a satire of Disney's fairy tale conventions by subverting familiar tropes and characters. The movie literally starts with Shrek wiping his ass with fairy tale book pages. It pokes fun at Disney's idealized notion of beauty and romance. The film also parodies the narrative structure of Disney's films, such as the quest for true love and the reliance on charming sidekicks. Shrek was a massive success, not just for DreamWorks, it became an international phenomenon. The film won the Academy Award for Best Animated Feature, beating Monsters, Inc., one of Disney's most successful films. Katzenberg finally achieved his goal. He scored a significant victory against Disney while poking fun at Michael Eisner, whom he parodied as the villain of the movie. They followed up with a series of successful movies using this formula, like Madagascar, Kung Fu Panda, and How to Train Your Dragon, continuing to attract audiences from all ages. While DreamWorks movies continue to be beloved and popular among audiences, the studio has faced significant financial challenges due to the high production costs associated with their films. This financial strain ultimately led to their acquisition by Universal Studios in 2016. Universal sought to leverage DreamWorks' expertise and experience in animation, adding it as a second animation division alongside their own Illumination Studios. Today, DreamWorks' established franchises remain as popular as ever. However, the studio is struggling to develop new original stories, which poses long-term challenges for their future growth and sustainability. Blue Sky Studios. Blue Sky Studios, founded in 1987 by Chris Wager and a team of visual effect artists, began as a small company specializing in high-end computer graphics for commercials and special effects. Originally, the studio focused on creating visual effects for films like Joe's Apartment and Fight Club, but their expertise in CGI would soon lead them into the world of feature-length animated movies. The turning point for Blue Sky came in 2002, with the release of Ice Age. The film was a major box office success. Ice Age not only put Blue Sky in the map, but also kickstarted a franchise that would become one of the most successful in animation history, spanning 5 feature films and countless spin-offs. Blue Sky Studios set itself apart by using its property CGI technology to create detailed and visually stunning environments and characters. The studio's attention to texture and light helped make their films visually distinctive, particularly when compared to their competitors. Ice Age's rich, icy landscapes and expressive character animation showcased Blue Sky's technical prowess, offering a fresh alternative to Pixar and DreamWorks. In 2009, Blue Sky Studios was acquired by 20th Century Fox, officially becoming the studio's animation division. Under Fox, Blue Sky released additional films such as Rio, another hit for the studio, loved for its vibrant colors and catchy soundtracks and memorable characters. It spawned a sequel in 2014 and became one of the studio's standout original properties. Despite their success with Ice Age and Rio, Blue Sky struggled to replicate the same level of popularity with other projects. Films like Epic, Ferdinand, and Spice in Disguise were moderately successful, but failed to achieve the franchise-level stature of Ice Age and Rio. In 2019, the Walt Disney Company acquired 21st Century Fox, which included Blue Sky Studios. Despite being a valuable asset in the world of CGI animation, Disney made the controversial decision to close Blue Sky Studios in 2021. Disney explained that maintaining a third major animation division was not viable when they already had 2. This move marked the end of Blue Sky's 34-year legacy in this industry. Illumination. Founded in 2007 by Chris Meledandri, Illumination Entertainment quickly rose to prominence as one of Hollywood's major animation studios. Before founding Illumination, Meledandri had been the head of animation at 20th Century Fox, where he oversaw the creation of successful films like Ice Age. His goal for Illumination was to create high-quality animated films with broad family appeal while keeping production costs low. A strategic approach that will distinguish Illumination from its competitors, like Disney and DreamWorks, whose films often had much larger budgets. Illumination's first major release was Despicable Me, which introduced audiences to the villainous yet lovable Gru and his minions. The movie was a massive success, earning over $500 million worldwide. It seems that every studio's first film is a massive hit for some reason. Its popularity turned the Minions into a pop culture sensation, leading to sequels, spin-offs, and a lot of merchandise. What set Illumination apart was its ability to produce this blockbuster hit at a fraction of the cost of a typical Pixar or Disney movie, proving that leaner production model could still bring massive box office returns. Illumination's winning formula involves simple, easily relatable stories, visual humor, and memorable characters, all crafted to appeal a broad international audience. While some critics have pointed out that Illumination's films tend to prioritize humor and marketability over depth or innovation, the studio's commercial success is undeniable. In 2016, Illumination was acquired by Universal Studios, becoming its primary animation division. Under Universal's ownership, Illumination continued its successful run, with films like the Super Mario Bros. Movie making a new era of video games adaptations and proved that Illumination could still deliver top-tier animation quality while keeping production costs manageable. Around the same time Illumination was acquired by Universal, becoming its primary animation division, Universal also acquired DreamWorks, bringing two major studios under one roof. When DreamWorks co-founder Jeffrey Katzenberg retired after the acquisition, Universal appointed Chris Maledandri to oversee both Illumination and DreamWorks. Chris has since brought his cost-efficient production methods to DreamWorks, a studio known for producing high-budget films. By applying the same leaner approach that made Illumination so successful, Maledandri aims to help DreamWorks reduce its production costs while maintaining the quality and creativity that the studio is known for. This strategy is especially important as DreamWorks has traditionally spent so much money on its films, leading to financial strain despite its popular franchises. Sony Pictures Animation. Sony Pictures Animation, founded in 2002, emerged as a significant player in the animation world, but it took some time for the studio to find its unique voice. Initially created as a division of Sony Pictures Entertainment to produce animated films for a global audience, Sony faced early challenges in defining its identity in the crowded animation landscape. The studio's first feature film, Open Season, wasn't groundbreaking in terms of storytelling, but it was commercially successful enough to launch a franchise with several direct-to-video sequels. Sony Animation's next effort, Surf's Up, an innovative mockumentary-style film about surfing penguins, earned an Academy Award nomination for Best Animated Feature, showcasing the studio's potential for creativity and uniqueness. However, it was until 2009, with the release of Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, that Sony Pictures Animation truly made a mark. Based on the popular children's book, the film's quirky humor, vibrant animation, and unique visual style helped it stand out, solidifying Sony's reputation for taking risks with offbeat stories and unconventional animation techniques. A sequel followed up in 2013, further cementing the property as one of Sony's signature franchises. Sony Animation continued to produce commercially successful films such as the Hotel Transylvania series, which became a hit with family audiences. But Sony's most iconic success came with Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. This groundbreaking film didn't just reinvent the superhero genre, but also pushed the boundaries of animation itself. Combining comic book aesthetics with bold visual styles, the film won the Academy Award for Best Animated Feature and is often credited with revitalizing the superhero animated genre while proving that Sony could stand shoulder to shoulder with giants like Pixar and Disney. Paramount Animation. Paramount's relationship with animation goes back decades, with its original association being through Fleischer Studios in the 1930s, known for classics like Popeye and Betty Boop, and Famous Studios, which produced the iconic Casper the Friendly Ghost and Little Lulu. Paramount largely stepped back from animation for much of the late 20th century. The studio returned to the animation scene in a big way with Nickelodeon Movie, which produced the Rugrats and SpongeBob SquarePants movies, but it wasn't until 2011 that Paramount created the dedicated animation division to focus on producing feature films, starting with Rango. The film was a critical success, winning the Academy Award for Best Animated Feature. However, Paramount Animation struggled to establish itself as a major player, lacking the franchise-building momentum that other studios thrived on. Following Rango, Paramount Animation made some SpongeBob movies capitalizing on the beloved Nickelodeon character. These films were commercially successful, but they didn't do much to establish Paramount Animation as the studio known for innovation or risk-taking. Paramount Animation's main strategy has been leveraging existing IPs and family-friendly brands, but the challenge remains for the studio to build long-lasting franchises outside of Nickelodeon's catalog. Whether it will be able to develop the kind of iconic animated features that other studios have is still uncertain, but their efforts indicate that Paramount is determined to stay in the game. Warner Bros. Animation. Warner Bros. Animation has one of the most influential histories in the animation industry, playing a crucial role in shaping the art form. The roots of Warner Bros. Animation stretch back to the creation of Looney Tunes in the 1930s, which introduced some of the most iconic animated characters in history. Focusing on a sharp humor and a distinctive style, Warner Bros. Early animation stood out in contrast to Disney's more family-friendly fare, leaning into slapstick comedy and witty writing. Warner Bros. Became synonymous with animated shorts that appealed both children and adults. However, when the feature-length animation became more dominant in the late 20th century, Warner Bros. Sought out to expand beyond their TV and short film success. In 1994, they launched Warner Bros. Feature Animation to create theatrical animated films, beginning with Space Jam, a groundbreaking hybrid live-action and animation that starred Michael Jordan alongside the Looney Tunes characters. Space Jam was a box office hit, blending sports and animation in a way that appealed to a broad audience. The film's success showcased Warner Bros.' ability to capitalize on their deep well of animated IPs, though their follow-up projects would face greater challenges. Their next film, Quest for Camelot, struggled both critically and commercially, failing to make an impact in the crowded animation landscape. This was followed by The Iron Giant. Although it was a critical masterpiece and it's now regarded as one of the greatest animated films ever made, it was a box office failure upon release. The film gained a massive cult following over time. Warner Bros. Struggles to compete with the likes of Disney and DreamWorks during this time led them to shift focus. They closed down the Warner Bros. Feature Animation unit in 2004 after the underwhelming release of Looney Tunes Back in Action, a live-action animation hybrid that aimed to recapture the magic of Space Jam but failed to meet expectations. However, Warner Bros. Animation didn't vanish. The company pivoted back to its television roots, producing beloved animated series like Batman the Animation Series, Justice League, and Teen Titans, which proved the studio still had a major influence in the realm of animated television. Warner Bros. Made a return to big screen animation in 2014 with a Lego Movie. Released under the newly rebranded Warner Animation Group, the film was a fresh comedic take on the popular Lego toy brand that resonated with both kids and adults. The film was a massive hit, praised for its visual creativity and clever storytelling. The success of the Lego Movie led to spin-offs like the Lego Batman movie and the Lego Ninjago movie, which helped re-establish Warner Bros. As a force in the animation industry. Today, at Warner Bros. Pictures Animation, the last name adopted for its theatrical division, the future looks bright, especially with the continued focus on DC Comics adaptations and the potential expansions of the Lego franchises. As one of the oldest names in animations, Warner Bros. Has truly re-established itself in the world of theatrical cinema animation. Skydance Animation. Remember John Lasseter, the father of Pixar who was fired from Disney in 2018? Well, he soon found a new home at Skydance Animation, where his vast experience and storytelling expertise would be key to the studio's ambitious goal, making its mark in theatrical animation. Skydance Animation was created in 2017 as a new division of Skydance Media. Skydance Media had already found success in live-action blockbusters, producing films like Mission Impossible and Star Trek. By hiring Lasseter in 2019, they signaled their intent to make a serious push for feature animation for theatrical releases. The studio's first major theatrical release under Lasseter's leadership was Luck, a film that combined elements of fantasy and comedy, exploring the unseen world of good and bad luck. While it didn't reach the critical acclaim of Lasseter's earlier works at Pixar, Luck was a respectable first outing, serving as a demonstration of Skydance Animation's potential to deliver visually stunning and imaginative stories for the big screen. One thing is for sure, Skydance Animation is aiming to break into the mainstream with more releases planned in the coming years.